Born of nuclear radiation and destined to walk the earth forever, welcome to Godzilla Reviewthon! What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeek Mixer here to give you guys the 13th installment to the Godzilla franchise, Godzilla vs. Megalon. And this time we got ourselves a bug with a drill taking on Godzilla, along with the two other monsters to join the film. One of which is actually the true star of this film. But the plot for human-wise starts off with the starting of the film being narrated by one of the human antagonists of the films. Well, kind of, but better yet say, he just narrates the fact that there's underground nuclear testing going on in 1973, which by the way is where this film takes place in. It took place, I mean, it was released in 1973. But either way, that aside, like I said, nuclear bomb testing's underground, and it turns out that that's causing problems for these guys known as Cetopians who live underground. They used to actually live on the surface of Earth, but all that underground nuclear testing caused them to be submerged, that the people of the present time in Japan only knew of them as legends on an island. I forget what that island is because they do mention it in here, but that's not really as important as what I've already told y'all, and that's the fact that these Cetopians don't like that all that nuclear bomb testing underground is causing all that ruckus. They hate it and they want it to stop. But they're not the only ones affected by it. You see, at the beginning of the film, it shows the effects that it has on Monster Island, with the fissure happening. With the fissure from that nuclear testing causing the island to split apart. And during that time, you'll see here Anguirus. Yes, Anguirus, he falls over because of the fissure. He falls straight into the fissure. And we won't see him again until the next installment. That's why I mentioned it out there, just to let y'all know what happens, because in the next installment, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's not as important because this is about, right now, this installment, Godzilla vs. Megalon. And as I said, Cetopians are mad, so they decide they're going to bring out their monster to teach these people on the surface a lesson. The first signing of them coming, is a lake fissure that happens where the three main human characters are. A guy named Goro, along with his little brother, and a friend of his. While the boy's out in the lake, the fissure happens, and then it sucks up all the water in the lake. Man, that's crazy. I mean, can you imagine yourself, first off, escaping a fissure in a lake and just seeing all that water be drained? You're just like, oh boy, what's coming? You can just feel something bad's coming. And that's exactly what that is. Y'all know how I was saying how we got the Cetopians are having a monster come out? Well, that monster is Megalon. Yes, Megalon is the one who comes straight out of that lake fissure and out to terrorize Tokyo. But here's the thing, Megalon needs a guide since he doesn't really know his way around Japan. And that's where the three main human characters come in. You see, the one I mentioned, Goro, he is making a robot. And that robot, its name is Jaguar. And he is actually the real star of the film, and really the greatness of this film. Now, why is he the star of the film? Well, if y'all watch the movie, y'all know that, yeah, it's really all about him. And Godzilla was just really thrown in there because actually in production-wise, this movie only took like 3 weeks to all set up and everything, and they were really just gonna have it be called Jaguar versus Megalon. But since he was something new, that they decided they needed to bring in Godzilla so they could have more marquee value. And what's more is that Jaguar, he was made from an elementary school kid who entered a contest along with many others back then to submit an idea for a robot. But basically, because of all the Ultramen going on, they decided to see what these little kids could come up with. And well, Jaguar was just that. And Jaguar, he was at first taken control of by the Cetopian agents who were actually trying to gain control of him by first knocking out the inventor and his brother and his friend, and then gaining control of the computer. But too bad we never really got to know how they knew about him making this robot and how they knew all this other stuff. But, what can you do? It's not like every movie's perfect, because truthfully, no movie is perfect. There's always something there that could made it a much better film, even though it was already good enough as it is. But otherwise, when they gain control of it, it's Jaguar who's used as Megalon's guide around Tokyo. And during Megalon's destruction, you can just tell that it's nothing but stock footage from King Ghidorah's destruction and Gigan's destruction. And speaking of Gigan, he's actually in this film too. Why? Well, let's just say that when the Jaguar is first on the control of Zootopians, the creator, Goro, he did a lot to make sure there was enough surprises for this robot. Like, for one, if the computer fell, he had a little necklace radio that would override the computer, and it would be under his control. Smart, man. Very smart. Because that's what he was going to do. In case the computer failed, he had that thing. But in this case, if the computer is in someone else's hands, there you go. Smart dude. Very smart dude. But in any case, when he gets him in control, he has him go over and get Godzilla. And that is where we see Godzilla and Jaguar meet. And you guys know how I talk about, we can usually understand these monsters without them conversing. Except for back in Ghidorah the three-headed monster, when they were chirping and they needed to be translated for us. Well, here we didn't necessarily need that, because we had the Jaguar and Godzilla doing movement. Like, consider it charades or something. I guess you could just say it's charades to help you understand what's going on. But it's because Jaguar turned back to the good side and went to go get Godzilla that the Zootopians called Space Nebula Hunter M, I believe it was called. They asked him to send in Gigan. That goes back to what I said earlier, why Gigan's in this film. Yeah, that's why he's in this film. He's there to help Megalon out. And as for Jaguar, while he completed his mission, he then decided he needs to take on Megalon while Godzilla's on his way over. And the best way you can know about this is that here's the thing. Jaguar, he wasn't being commanded. He was just doing it himself. Goro, not Goro or the guy who was on the computer was giving him this command. He was. And that's another thing Goro built into him. I forget what he called it. I think it was something about survival mode. Like something like that. Not quite sure of it, but still, I'm glad he did it, because we learned that by doing that, he was able to change his size to monster size so he could fight Megalon. And he didn't do too shabby, but when Gigan came, oh, he just kept getting the crap beat out of him badly. And man, he would have been annihilated, but luckily Godzilla showed up in time. And then we get our another tag battle. This time it's Godzilla and Jaguar versus Megalon and Gigan. And yeah, there's still some stock footage used from Gigan when he's fighting Godzilla. But not so much, so it's not really all that bad. It's like, you can be looking past it and whatnot. But what really got things going was when, like, they switched partners. First it was Jaguar and Megalon, Godzilla and Gigan, and then it was switched over to Godzilla and Megalon, Jaguar and Gigan. And when Jaguar was getting beaten the crap out of again by Gigan, Gigan once again shows how brutal he can be. You see, Godzilla was going to come and help him out. Gigan sees it and he's like, whoa, hold it right there, pal. One more step and he's chopped lever. Or in this case, chopped wires. That's what Gigan was saying. But Gigan seems to forget. You gonna try that on Godzilla? Or have you forgotten about the atomic breath? Because he certainly seemed to have forgotten about that. But that's when Megalon came out and decided to shoot some bombs he has in his mouth. And yeah, if you see this image the scene right here, he just kept constantly shooting and shooting and shooting until it made this ring of fire that Godzilla and Jaguar were trapped in. And there was this funny scene of Megalon and Gigan just making fun of him. Just look at this. See, is that not funny? Is that not funny at all? But what's the big deal anyway? Jaguar just just gets them out, and then all's good, all's well and ends well, because after which Gigan and Megalon are just continue to beat the crap out of. And a very good teamwork spot when Jaguar lifts Gigan into the sky and Godzilla burns him with his atomic breath. And then one last scene of teamwork from Jaguar and Gigan was Godzilla doing this. Yes, that right there was a super kick, like a long distance kick that he was able to do. I don't know how. Looking like its tail is the one that's keeping the gravity going and keeping him in the air like that. All I know is that was cool. Very cool. I would put it on the same level as when Godzilla did that shoulder toss over, his over shoulder toss to King Ghidorah in Godzilla vs. Gigan. Because, but for this one, we didn't get it but 2 times, but still, it was sweet to see. But after Megalon and Gigan run away, Godzilla heads back home, but not before Jaguar thanks him by handshaking him. And that made me think back when, before the next installment of Godzilla had some adventures in Zone Fighters where he formed up a friendship with Zone Fighter. And I'm thinking maybe that's where they got this from. When Jaguar was showing a good friendship with Godzilla and shaking his hand, he was showing, it was a sign saying maybe we should put Godzilla in Zone Fire so they can form a friendship like Jaguar and him did. Maybe so, but it all ended with Jaguar's theme, which I wish I could play, but I don't want to risk getting copyright on it. As a matter of fact, why don't I just show you guys 15 seconds of it. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. If I were you guys, I'd say give this movie a shot. I mean, in terms of plot-wise and everything, it's not really that good, but with Jaguar in it, it really makes things fun and interesting, and not to mention some of the personalities that are shown during this monster tag battle. It's really not that bad. Oh, and if y'all also know, they had a new Godzilla suit, because if y'all could remember in Gigan, you could tell that suit was getting ripped apart. And well, let's just say that I'm not really a fan of that Godzilla suit then. He was just looking all too nice. Like, it's like his meanness, his menacing side wasn't there anymore. But either case, I definitely say give this movie a shot just for Jaguar and some laughs and the monsters and how they fight. But if you guys are enjoying my videos, all you gotta do is click the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next installment of Godzilla Reviewthon! Until then, MegaGeek Mixer signing out. Bye!